Welcome back to the News at 10. It is now less than 100 hours to the 60th anniversary celebration for Nigeria's independence. What does the past reveal and what are the scenarios for the next 60 years? To share insights on some growth and development indicators is data and information analyst Babajide Ogusowo, the man with the answers tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Amarachi.
Good evening. So any word for that can describe the nation at 60?
Maybe another word, maybe a phrase. I'll share some of that with you, especially how much was a newspaper sold 66 decades ago and what are the implications. And I think you'll be surprised. But tonight I'd like to talk about what a wise woman, former a U.S. author, Sherilyn Kenyon said. In our past lies our future. In our past lies our future. Now, what does she mean? It means that by our hands and decisions we make, we will be damned or we will survive. So what do I mean by our hands? What does the Nigeria hand look like? And what decisions have we taken in the last 6 decades? Now, what does the Nigerian hand look like? The Nigerian hand looks like the winner of tonight's Big Brother, Lekan Agbeleche, 26-year-old Lekan. Now, what do I mean by this? If you call the National Bureau of Statistics and ask how many Lekans do we have, how many 26-year-old Nigerians are living today, the answer shows that 66% of today's Nigerian citizens are like Lekan, below the age of 26. You heard me right. 66% of Nigerians are below the age of 26. It means that we have a very young nation. But what decisions have we taken? So yes, we've seen that is what Nigeria looks like. Nigeria looks like the Lekons. But what decisions have we made? And if we look at the history, our history since 1960, especially, I might not have one word, but that phrase, the cost of living, here's what you find. 1960 or 1963, in the 60s, when we had independence, a newspaper in 1960 was sold for 3 pence. In 1970, newspapers still sold 3 pence. 1980, 15 kobo. 1990, it moved to 1 naira, 50 kobo. By 2000, the newspaper had moved to 50 naira, 2010, 150 naira, and today, 200 naira. And so we've seen from 3 pence in 1960 to 200 naira. So if there's a nightmare in the last 60 days, it will be the cost of living. But if there's a dream, that dream is in the young Nigerian population. And that's really what has happened. It's been a mixture of rising cost of living, which has affected several things, and the opportunities in that young Nigerian population.
It would be nice to understand what the dream is. Do you have any idea what it looks like, and what would increase productivity, to cater for this young generation?
It's the population. The dream is to be able to understand our population growth, especially if we take a look at what has happened in the last 60 days from a population perspective. Remember in 1960 when we had independence, even the United Kingdom had a population that was more than Nigeria, 54 million. Nigeria's population in 1960 was 45 million. We've seen population grow exponentially, from 45 million in 1960 to 115 million by 2000, and we are now at 220 million. Amarachi, here's why this is important. The forecast, we've seen what has happened in the past 60 years. But the question we should ask is, what will happen in the next 6 decades? And based on our population growth, by 2080, Nigeria's population will be 1.4 billion. In other words, Nigeria's population in the next 60 years will be more than the population of Africa today. And so we need to look at what is the vision for being able to manage the young population and to be able to look at the opportunities that lie ahead. Like I started, in our past lies our future.
Regine, you've given us stuff to think about tonight. Thanks again.
On Thursday, I'll share some new insights with you.
Okay,
on
no words from
Independence
your
Day.
grandfather tonight, but thanks again for coming tonight.
The pleasure is all mine.
I appreciate your being here.